Good morning, everybody. So for today's masterclass, I'm going to be diving into nuance, as it was. Today's topic is going to be learning nuance through transcriptions. And basically, this masterclass is just going to talk about what you can get through transcribing someone beyond just learning like notes, vocabulary, lines, stuff like that. So I want to start out with talking about what exactly I mean when I say nuance. Nuance is things that people and special artists add to their music to make it something greater than just someone playing great vocabulary or great bebop lines. So I have a little list up here that I want to talk about. So some of those instances are like scoops or falls or doits, vibrato, rips, turns, trills, treatments of the notes, dynamics, lengths of the notes, articulations, all that stuff. Basically, it's like something that gives someone more personality, color, and edge. So to start off, I'm going to play a little transcription, just part of it, of the transcription we're going to be talking about today, which is the eminent J.J. Johnson Volume 2's his solo on Time After Time. And I'm just going to play the melody and the way that he plays it. You can follow along if you'd like. So, my question for you guys is, what kind of nuances did you actually hear him play?
So I heard vibrato, and
Okay.
I heard different vibratos on different notes.
Okay.
It wasn't just the same vibrato, and I also heard different ways of scooping that he did,
Mm-hmm.
as well as like like connecting different notes in different ways. So like I would say he's all about having a wide amount of content to capture.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's like a lot of subtlety to the way that J.J. Johnson plays, which is part of the reason why I picked it. And I put this up here, and it's like, it's kind of helpful to have the transcription up here, but in a sense it's like the music, like written notation kind of fails what we're going for right here, because, I mean, you can put lines, the little scoop lines here, but it's like, that doesn't capture or encapsulate exactly what he plays because it's so much richer and deeper and more nuanced than that. So, another thing that I actually want to talk about that I think is really great about J.J. Johnson's playing, and I put it up here, is his treatment of the note. So, the thing about J.J. Johnson's playing that's so exceptional is the fact that he gives every note its full value, full length, and it's a full note throughout the whole entire note, unless he doesn't want it to be. So he has complete control over exactly the shape of his notes, which I think is an under-noticed or an underplayed nuance, because everyone just kind of assumes, this is a note, I want to play this note, so I'm going to play the note. But they don't think about what the beginning and the middle and the end of the note, like what they want it to sound like. He can craft any note however he wants, which is really great. So I think the next part of this activity is going to be, we're going to pick a little spot in the transcription, and I want to see if we can all get it together. Just getting the nuance of it. So let me see if I can find what I'm thinking of. Yeah, I just want to get this one note. It's this pickup right here to 18. Oh, do. Just listen to it again. Can we all sing that as along? Yeah, one more time. Yeah, see, there's like a lot of subtlety to the way that he plays it. And the thing is, especially because I'm holding a trombone, like, everyone expects that there's going to be a scoop, but like, it's become so commonplace for trombone players to have scoops that they don't think about. A lot of times they don't. Myself, personally, also, I don't think about what kind of air I want to use during the scoop, how fast I want to move my slide, whether I want to start the scoop at a certain point low in the slide, or do I want to start it close to the top? Do I want it to be a big or a small scoop? Yeah. So that's just one example. And the thing about J.J. Johnson's playing too that I think is helpful when it comes to approaching nuance is that he does occasionally use both types of vibrato. He uses slide and lip vibrato, which is something that trombone players can't do, that I'm not sure other instruments are capable of doing, which is having multiple specific ways of vibrato. So the next thing I want to talk about with this is actually a little bit about how he articulates, because he uses a wide variety of different articulations as well. So I guess the overall overarching thing that I want behind this is how can we use nuance, and what can we do in the practice room to make that happen? So I wrote a couple of thoughts down here, but I want to hear what you guys think. So when you want to work on nuance, do you guys have any thoughts of what you could do?
Normally you can listen a lot, because
Yeah.
listening is the reference.
Yeah, exactly. So that goes along with my fourth point. Actually, it's great that you mentioned that. I said just copy it directly. So just go through, find, say that you like that, the way that B flat is played. And you just go through and you play that. And you find another piece where you want to play it. Play it on a different note. That's nice. I like that, the way that JJ plays it, so I'm just going to take it and plug it in on another tune or on another note just because I like it. Another thing that I hope that this masterclass is helpful for is I want you'll to be asking sort of questions when you're practicing. So the questions I want you to ask yourself are, what nuances do I naturally use? So for me, I know that when I use vibrato, I tend to use a pretty fast and shallow vibrato, just as my standard. And I don't really tend to use a lot of slide vibrato. So it's okay, well, I'm practicing and I'm gonna play a ballad, why don't I try a bunch of these different nuances? Why don't I try playing time after time with a faster, wider vibrato? Gets a little bit of a more old-timey sound. Or maybe I want to practice with utilizing slide vibrato if I really want to get, let's say I want to play like Dorsey, so I'll do a really fast, shallow slide vibrato. So, and I really like that you mentioned listening, first of all, because listening, I think, is the key to all of this, is that, especially because it helps you develop in your head a specific idea of a sound that you want, so that when you go into the practice room, you say, I want that sound. And when you're listening, and you listen back to yourself, you'll be able to hear, okay, so this is what I normally do, this is what I naturally do, and this is how I could change it. So, and then the next thing that you can ask yourself is, what kind of, yes?
What do you tell somebody who, you talked about this earlier, what do you tell somebody whenever they're so accustomed to looking at music,
Yeah.
and they don't understand about not being able to divorce the listening? What how do you help somebody, or how do you communicate to them that listening versus reading a transcription is more beneficial?
I think that it's important that you show and have them recognize that each of those things, so looking at a transcription and reading the music in itself is a certain skill set. So being able to read the piece of music and interpret the melody based off of what you see on the page is a certain skill, and listening and interpreting what you hear off of a recording is also a certain skill. And you gain a lot of things by doing each that commingle. Being able to play, say you could play, if you played this transcription and you just read it off the page, you'd be pretty close, and it would get you the bulk of the way much faster than, say, going in and having to transcribe it by ear. But when you transcribe it by ear, you get more than you do when you listen, or when you read it, I guess. Does that sort of answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, once again, you cannot divorce the listening.
Yeah, the listening is essential, especially for this type of music, because jazz has always been an aural-based music where people listen and they go for a sound that they specifically think. And I think in music in general, like, music is the art of sound. So it's like, if you take the sound out of the music, then you're going to miss a lot of what's important about music, if not the essential thing about music, which is the sound. So, and this is why I think nuances and little subtleties in the playing can make such a huge difference. It's because it's not only does it sound great, but to the listener and to the trained ear, they're going to think, wow, this person has really spent time, they've honed their sound, they have these nuances. Their playing has more levels of depth than someone else who's just went and they said, oh, well, I found this on Google and I'm just going to play this transcription for you. Here we go. And then they play it, and the person who went through and learned exactly what the sound was supposed to be like, what exactly nuances they needed to use, where you're going to show another level of depth to their playing. And that's the kind of thing that makes music special, is having depth to your playing. So, great. Thank you. And that's it. How long was that? I want to get someone up here and try something. So, can I have you come up here, Alton?
Sure.
So we're going to take this little bit of this transcription. We're going to start right here, which is measure 16. We're just going to play these 4 bars down to this F. Cool? Okay. And I just want you to just listen to it once. try and play it like JJ. Good. So that's pretty good. Pretty good. I like that that you got scoops in, and I like that the scoops were actually pretty close to the way that JJ plays. So we want to try it one more time.
Sure.
Just now that they're getting the hang of it. Let's see. I'll put it back here. We got 2, 3, 4, 1. The accuracy of the rhythm too was much closer to the way that he plays it. So you picked that up super quickly. So now I want to try something. Let's play that same thing one more time. We're going to do it without recording, and I want to hear how you would play it if it was your interpretation. So I'll give you 5 beats, and then you just play it how you would want to play it. Does that make sense? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Is how are you like JJ's playing, and how are you different from JJ's playing?
So something that I really like that JJ does is that he knows how to use different sorts of scoops for different notes in his lines.
Yeah.
And so I like trying to copy that whenever I'm playing different notes, because it adds another layer of depth of awareness.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. Can you try one thing for me as well? I just want to test your flexibility a little bit. On the long notes, can you do slide vibrato instead of lip vibrato?
Sure.
Okay. Here we go. Oh, you just by yourself. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So I liked how you actually did a different speed of slide vibrato for each note, and then on some of it, I was actually going to mention this, but you did it automatically, which is great. That you changed the slide vibrato as the note actually went through. If you felt the phrase was getting more intense, you moved the slide faster. Mm-hmm. That was great. I really like that. Can you do the same thing with lip vibrato now? So when you play with the lip vibrato, make it more exciting as you get more through the note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I just wanted to test your. I was like, yeah, passed with flying colors. So yeah, these are questions I ask myself a lot when I'm practicing. It's like, so thank you. Just what do I use naturally? What can I change? How can I make the music more interesting, exciting, etc. by just making those little tiny differences. So thank you again for your time.